Hare Krishna, welcome dear Parshad Prabhu to our 7th session of the English explanation of Sri Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ with the commentary Durgama Sangamani of Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī. I have already previously explained what is the meaning of the term Durgama Sangamani. Durgama are those areas which are difficult to traverse, and Sangamani, and this commentary will walk with you in those difficult areas. So in the previous session we have seen the translation of the second verse, and we have to continue from that point because the commentary was remaining. But before we continue, let us do Mangalacharan. So I will sing the verses and you can repeat after me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya
Jnananjanashalakaya
Jnananjanashalakaya
Chakshurunmilitam yena
Chakshurunmilitam yena
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Sthapitam yena bhutale
Sthapitam yena bhutale
Soyam Rupah Kadamahyam
Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
Dadati Swapadantikam.
Dadati Svapadantikam.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki jai,
Jai.
Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, as I said, this is our 7th session, and we'll be continuing from the point where we left off previously. So, I'll share my screen with you. And you can see the point at which we have left off. This is 1.1.2. Hridhi yasya preranaya pravartitoham varakarupopi tasya harehe padakamalam vande chaitanya devasya. So, one day I glorify padakamalam, the lotus feet of that Hari, also known as Chaitanya Deva, by whose inspiration in my heart I am engaged in composing this verse, although I am a most degraded Rupa, or I am a most fallen. Varaka means fallen or degraded, something like that. So, once again, can you read the translation, Prabhu?
I glorify the lotus feet of that Hari, who is known as Chaitanya Dev, by whose inspiration in my heart I am engaged in composing this work, although I am a most degraded Rupa.
Now, Sri Jīva Gosvāmī is commenting. Sri Jīva Gosvāmī says, Atha. Atha means now a new verse or a new topic is beginning. So, Atha. Nija Bhakti Pravartanena Kali Yuga Pavan Avataram. So, he is Kali Yuga Pavana Avataram. So, he is the avatar. He is the incarnation who makes Kali Yuga Pavana, means who purifies the age of
Kali.
Kali. How does he do that? Nija bhakti pravartanena. By spreading, propagating Nija bhakti, his own bhakti. So how is he Kali Yuga Pavan Avatar? He is, it's referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is Kali Yuga Pavan Avatar. He is the incarnation that purifies Kali Yuga. How does he do that?
By spreading his own bhakti.
By propagating Nija bhakti, his own bhakti. So that person, Visheshatah, and especially that person is not some ordinary person whom, who the author has read only in books. The author has personally met this personality. So Swa Ashraya Charana Kamalam. And actually he is that person at whose lotus feet the author is himself sheltered. So in other words, the author is initiated directly by these personalities. So Swa Ashraya Charana Kamalam. So the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are the shelter of this personality. And who is that person? Shri Shri Chaitanya Devam Bhagavantam Namaskaroti. So Rupa Goswami is doing namaskar to Bhagavantam, to Bhagavan. And who is that Bhagavan? Shri Chaitanya Deva. So all others are adjectives. Swashraya Charana Kamalam is the lotus feet that has given shelter to the author. Visheshata, this is specifically. And in general, he is Kali Yuga Pavan Avataram. He is the incarnation which purifies Kali Yuga. How? Nija Bhakti Pravartanena, by propagating his own bhakti. So in general, he propagates his own bhakti, and therefore he is Kali Yuga Pavan Avatar. And specifically, he is the shelter, his lotus feet are the shelter of Rupa Goswami. So unto that Shri Shri Chaitanya Devam, unto that Bhagavantam, unto that Lord, Namaskaroti. Rupa Goswami offers Mangalacharan, which is Namaskriyaatmak. Previously, I think in the previous session, we did 3 types of Mangalacharan: Ashirvadatmak, Namaskriyaatmak, Vastu Nirdeshatmak. Yes? So Namaskaroti. So he offers obeisance. So this is a Mangalacharan in which Namaskar is being offered. Okay. Vande Chaitanya Devasya. So I offer my obeisances, my glorifications to Chaitanya Deva. So what does the verse say? Jīva Gosvāmī says, Hridi yasya prayaranaya pravartitah. By whose prayarana, by whose inspiration? Who is that Chaitanya Deva? Yasya prayaranaya, by whose inspiration? Prerana means, what does prerana mean?
Inspiration.
Where is the inspiration coming? Hridi, in the heart. In whose heart?
In the heart of Rupa Goswami.
Therefore, Rupa Goswami says pravartitah. Therefore, I am engaged. But in the verse, he did not specify what is he engaged in. You can be engaged in any activity of the world. Right? So, Asmin Sandarbha iti Sheshaha. So, Jīva Goswami says some phrase has to be added. I am engaged in what? Asmin Sandarbhe. In this context of writing Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. I hope Sandarbha means in this context. Which context of writing Bhakti-rasāmṛta, of composing Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. So by whose inspiration I am engaged? Engaged in what?
Composing Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
Although I am Varaka iti. So Jīva Goswami takes the term Varaka Rupa, and in Varaka Rupa also he takes which term?
Sorry, Boo? Within
Varaka Rupa is a combined term.
He also takes the term Rupa. He adds.
But in that he is considering which term here? Varaka iti. So he is taking the first term, Varaka. and explaining it. So what is the meaning of Varaka in the original verse?
The original verse, Varaka, means degraded or fallen.
Fallen, degraded. So Jīva Gosvāmī says Varaka iti, this term Varaka, Swayam Dainya Uktam. So he has himself written to denote his own Dainya, humility. Out of his own humility, he has written Varaka. Jīva Gosvāmī says Saraswati tu tad asahamana. Saraswati, however, who is Saraswati?
The goddess of learning.
The goddess of speech. Tu tad asahamana. Asahamana. Being unable to tolerate that. So Saraswati, however, being unable to tolerate that, does something. What does Saraswati do? So the Saraswati who is sitting on his mouth, on Rupa Goswami's mouth, she derives another meaning of the term Varak. What meaning does Saraswati derive of the term Varak? Varam. Varam equal to Shreshtham. What does Varam mean?
Varam means Shreshtham.
Shreshtham, which means highest or greatest. So from Varam, which section, which portion is being taken? Vara. I hope you are able to understand. Vara. And then A equal to Samyak. Samyak means completely. And Kayati. From Kayati only Ka is being taken. Ka. Kayati equal to Shabdayate. Shabdayate means he makes sounds. So he makes, he makes complete and he makes great sound vibrations. Therefore, he is known as Vara A Ka. What is he known as?
Vara A Ka.
And when they combine, what does that?
Varaka.
So, or basically, Shreshtham means the greatest subject matter and completely, and Shabdayate can also mean he describes. Okay, so let's refine it. So he completely describes which subject matter?
He completely describes the greatest subject matter.
So Varam, or the greatest subject matter, that is Krishna. A means he completely, Kayati, Shabdayate, he describes. Therefore, he is known as Varaka. Okay, so finally we get this. Vara means the greatest subject matter. He completely describes. That is the meaning of Varaka. I hope you are able to understand. Saraswati being unable to tolerate the meaning Varaka as fallen, takes the meaning as he who describes the greatest subject matter. So I am Varaka Rupa. I am that Rupa who describes the greatest subject matter. This is the meaning which Saraswati takes. Iti tat dvarenaiva tam stavayati. So in this way, tam stavayati, she glorifies him tat dvarenaiva, through using his own words. Using his own term Varaka, she glorifies him. Now, but if this meaning is taken, instead of saying, I am a most degraded Rupa, what meaning does Saraswati take?
I am that Rupa who completely describes the greatest subject matter.
Wow, if this meaning is taken, then what the api will become useless, no?
Huh.
Because although this
It indicates a
api,
contrast.
although indicates a contrast, that contrast will be lost if we interpret Varaka Rupa as I am that Rupa who describes the greatest subject. Although I am that Rupa who describes the greatest subject matter. So Jīva Gosvāmī understands this. Okay, so let's take this meaning. Although I am Rupa who describes the greatest subject matter. Okay, now can you read the translation?
I glorify the lotus feet of that Hari who is known as Chaitanya Deva, by whose inspiration in my heart I am engaged in composing this work, although I am Rupa who describes the greatest subject matter.
Does it sound legible, or does it sound a little bit off?
It sounds off.
So Jīva Gosvāmī says, मत कवितायाम अपि तत् प्रेरणया एव अत्र प्रवृत्तिः स्यात् न अन्यथा इति अपेर अर्थः. So apair arthah, what is the meaning of api? So he is giving what api, although. Mat kavitayam api tat preranaya eva atra pravrittih syat na anyatha. So mat kavitayam api, in my own poetry also, although I am most accomplished Rupa, but even in my poetry, I am engaged because he inspired me, not otherwise. So what will the meaning be? Although I am the most accomplished Shri Rupa, still it is only by his inspiration that I am engaged in composing this Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. And therefore, unto him I offer my glorification and obeisances. So I hope you are able to understand what is the meaning of apair artha. The meaning of api is explained by Sri Jīva Gosvāmī. So although I have, I have all qualifications, I can describe the greatest subject matter. Still, this is such a subject matter that only by his inspiration can I engage in describing it. So that is what is the meaning of api here. So I hope this is clear. Anything to ask in this verse?
No, Prabhu. I was thinking about api, but then.
So I hope the meaning of api is clear now.
Yes, Prabhu.
So like there may be a PhD scholar in the university who is like very accomplished, and in a particular subject matter. Let's say he is very accomplished in nuclear physics, but in a specific sub branch of nuclear physics, he gets inspiration to write only by his superior. So he may say, although I'm an expert, I'm already a PhD in nuclear physics, but this subject matter is specifically due to the inspiration of my superior. So I hope you're able to, this is in that way. On those lines, this statement also has to be interpreted. So let's go to the next verse. So Eastern Division, first wave, verse number 3, again Arya. Okay. Vishrama mandirataya.
Vishrama mandirataya.
Vishrama mandirataya.
Vishrama mandirataya.
Tasya sanatana tanormadishasya.
Tasya sanatana tanormadishasya.
Tasya sanatana tanormadishasya.
Tasya sanatana tanormadishasya.
Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
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 Bhavatu sadāyam pramodāya.
Bhavatu sadayam pramodaya.
Bhavatu sadāyam pramodāya.
Bhavatu sadayam pramodaya.
So this is, singing in Arya. Sometimes you can, if you relax the rules of singing the meter, you can also try to sing it in more beautiful ways. Vishrama mandir taya tasya sanatana tanur madishasya Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ bhavatu sadāyam pramodāya. So, but here I have not taken any pauses. Previously when I was singing, I was taking pauses. But here I have not taken any. In singing, you can take some liberties. Okay, so, but the technically correct way of singing is how I sang it the first time. Although it didn't sound so pleasing as the second time. But that is the technically correct way of singing it. Okay. So let's try to interpret this verse. Now we have sung it. Let's try to interpret this verse. So in this verse, he is glorifying a certain personality. Sanatana Tanoho Mad Ishasya. My Lord. Of my Lord, who is Sanatana Tanu. What does Tanu mean?
I don't know.
Tanu means form, body. So Sanatana Tanu. What is the meaning of Sanatana?
Eternal.
And what is another meaning of Sanatana?
Sanatan Goswami.
Right. So let's take the first one, Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. So may this ocean of Bhakti-rasāmṛta, okay, I have added may this in bracket because bhavatu will convey that meaning. May. So may this ocean of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ bhavatu. May it be. May this ocean be. I don't have to put this here. I am is already there. I am. Okay. May this I am means this. So may this. Where is I am in the verse?
Sada.
Sada and I am. Sada I am. May this Bhakti-rasāmṛta, ocean of Bhakti-rasa. Or let's just, let's keep it like this. Bhavatu, be. Sada. May, or let's put Sada before this. Always. Be. Pramodaya. For the pleasure. Okay. Vishrama Mandirataya. Now, what is Vishrama Mandira? What does Vishrama mean? Vishrama means rest, relaxation. That is what is the meaning of Vishrama. And what is Mandir?
Temple, place
abode,
of worship.
Abode. So anyone's abode. Mandir means griha. So basically, Vishrama Mandirata. Vishrama-mandirata means an abodeness of relaxation. So may this Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ be like an abode of relaxation. I hope you are able to understand. Be a Vishrama Mandira. Always be manifest as an abode of relaxation. Of whose relaxation? Tasya.
Of him.
Of him. Mad Ishasya. Who is my
Lord.
My Lord. Having a form which is Sanatana. Okay. Did we cover all the terms? Tasya Sanatana Bhakti-rasam bhavatu sadayam pramoda. So let's see if the translation is legible, and let's smoothen the rough edges in the translation. So can you read this translation?
May this ocean of Bhakti-rasāmṛta always be manifest as an abode of relaxation.
So for him. So of him, instead of saying of him.
For him, who is my Lord, having a form which is Sanatana.
There are two meanings of Sanatana here. Eternal.
There also has to be a Pramodaya, I think.
For the pleasure.
Okay.
So for this we have to adjust.
I think under Vishrama Mandira.
Then we have to do of him. Yes. Okay, now let's read the translation again, and then.
May this ocean of Bhakti-rasāmṛta always be manifest as an abode of relaxation for the pleasure of him who is my Lord, having a form which is Sanatana.
What is the first meaning of Sanatana?
Sanatana is the Supreme Lord.
Eternal.
Eternal.
Another meaning is Gosvāmī. Sanatan
Gosvāmī. Sanatan Gosvāmī. Isn't Sanatan also a name of Lord Vishnu?
Yes. So Jīva Gosvāmī will speak in the commentary. Okay, about that. So what is the meaning of the verse? May this Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ be an abode of relaxation, and may it be for the pleasure for my Lord, who is Sanatana Tanu, whose Tanu is Sanatana, whose form is Sanatana, that is for Krishna, and whose Tanu, whose body is named Sanatana. This is for his elder brother, Sanatana Gosvāmī. So I hope you got the two meanings. Okay. Now the commentary. Atha means, what does Atha mean?
Like now that regarding the subject matter. Like
a new topic has begun, new subject. Nija ishta deva avatarattvena nija gurum stuvan prarthayate. So prarthayate, he is praying while stuvan, glorifying his own guru. So he is praying to his guru while glorifying his guru. How is he glorifying his guru? Nija ishta deva avatarattvena. By calling him an avatar, an incarnation of Nija Ishtadeva, his own Ishtadeva. So he is calling his guru Sanatana Gosvāmī as an incarnation of his own Ishtadeva. So Guru the incarnation of Krishna?
Yes.
So Guru is an incarnation of Krishna, but Guru is not a Vishnu Tattva incarnation. Guru is counted within which Tattva?
Guru Tattva.
So, see, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is mentioned, see here, Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena. So, Krishna Kripa Karena, Krishna bestows mercy in which form?
Guru Rupe.
So, in the form of Shri Guru, Krishna bestows his mercy. Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakta Gane. So basically, Guru is an incarnation of Krishna, although Guru is not the Supreme Lord. So, Acha Nija Ishta Deva Avatarattvena. So by considering his Guru as an avatar of his Ishta Dev, Nija Gurum Stuvan. So while glorifying his Guru, Prarthayate, he prays for something. So this is Ashirvadatmaka. Ashirvadatmaka means praying for some benediction. Therefore, this is which Mangalacharan?
Ashirvad.
Ashirvadatmaka. Three types of Mangalacharan. Ashirvadatmaka, Namaskriyaatmaka, Vastu Nirdeshatmaka. Did we cover these last time?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
Okay. So, Vishrama iti. So, what is the first term was Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. Okay. So, what is the meaning of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ? Bhakti rasa rupasya amritasya sindhur iva. So it is iva, it is like an ocean of amritasya, of nectar. Of which nectar? Nectar which is of the form of bhakti rasa rupa. So it is an ocean of nectar of bhakti rasa. Iva iti tannama ayam granthasya. So that is the name of this literature. So Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ indicates here a literature or an actual ocean of actual physical ocean, or it indicates the literature?
It's the literature. But
literature. Granthasya. So what should this literature do? Shri Krishnakhyasya Mad Ishasya. So it should do something in relation to Shri Krishna, who is Mad Isha, who is my Ishtadev, who is my Lord. It should do something for him. His name is Shri Krishna and he is my Ishwar. So it should do something for him. And how is that Ishwara? He is Sanatana Tanu. How is he? He is?
His Sanatana Tanu. He has an eternal form.
So, Sada Svenaiva Rupena Sthitasya. He is always Svenaiva Rupena Sthita. He is always situated in his own form, his own eternal form. But Prakashita Nana Rupa Tanor. But as he continues to exist in his own eternal form, but he also manifests Nana Rupa Tanor. He also manifests various other bodies. And of all those bodies, Ya Sanatana Namni Tanus. There is one body which he has manifested, and that body is Sanatana Goswami. I hope you are able to understand. So, although Krishna is my Lord, he is eternally situated in his own form as Krishna, but he manifests various forms to help the living entities. And out of the various forms that he manifested, there is one form which is named Sanatana.
Okay.
So what form is that?
Sanatana Goswami.
Tasya Vishrama Mandirataya. So let this Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ be situated as his resting abode. So what is the meaning of, does it mean that Sanatana Goswami will open the book and peacefully sleep in it? What does it mean? What does it mean?
He'll relish in the book. He'll
Yeah.
be able to.
So
The
yeah,
subject matter will be a place of great joy and
relaxation for him.
relaxation for him.
So Jīva Gosvāmī says, "Tat tulyataya angīkārena iti artha." Iti artha. The meaning is that tat tulyataya angīkārena, which means he should accept it like an ocean of relaxation. I hope not exactly as an ocean, but he should accept it similar to an ocean of relaxation. But is ocean a place of relaxation or drowning?
It's hard to relax on the ocean unless you have a boat or something.
Right. But therefore, the name given is Sanatana. Which name is given?
Sanatana.
And therefore, a parallel is drawn between Sanatan Goswami and Sanatan Lord.
I see.
Because Anyasya api Sanat Narayanakhyaha. And there is another Sanatana Tanu, another eternal body, whose name is what?
Narayana.
Narayana. Sada Prasiddha Samanartha Sanatana Tanu. And he is famous with the same meaning Sanatana, because his body is also eternal. And Sindhur Vishrama Mandiram Bhavati iti. But for him, the ocean, does it become an abode of drowning or does it become an abode of relaxation?
For him, it becomes an abode of relaxation.
So just like the Sindhu is an abode of relaxation for Sanatan, just like the ocean is an abode of relaxation for Sanatan or Narayan. Similarly, may my Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ also become an abode of relaxation for Sanatan. Because my Sanatan Goswami is an incarnation of that Sanatan, of that Lord. So similarly, let my ocean be a resting place, an eternal resting place for my Sanatan, or that Krishna who has appeared as my Guru. So I hope you have understood what he's trying to say. Anything to ask here?
No, Prabhu.
Okay. Now, see here. Parallels are being drawn. Okay, 3 parallels will be drawn for the ocean. Okay, the first parallel has been drawn. Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ is like an ocean. Okay, why? First reason is because Sanatana resides in it.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, so between the ocean and Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ, one parallel is being drawn. So the first parallel is, what is the first reason for Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ being similar to an ocean?
Sanatana resides in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
Okay. And for a normal ocean, what does Sanatana mean?
For a normal ocean, what is normal ocean? Sanatan means Lord Vishnu. Lord
And
Narayan.
for Bhakti-rasāmṛta ocean, what does Sanatana mean?
Sanatan Goswami.
So the first parallel is drawn. Keep this first parallel in your mind.
Oh, I have a weird question.
Right.
Can one also say that the subject matters of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ is a resting place for Narayan or for Krishna?
Yeah, the subject matter of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ, we can say that, but then
it would give great relishment to Narayan, but it would take away from the underlying poetic.
Right. So the sahriday meaning, the like-minded meaning, is that which Jīva Gosvāmī has explained in the commentary. Although other meanings can also be derived, but are we looking for all possible meanings or the sahriday meaning?
The sahriday.
The meaning which was intended by the heart of the author. Okay. Now, verse 4. Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ
Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ
चरतः परिभूत काल जाल भिया
Charata paribhuta kala jala bhiya
चरतः परिभूत काल जाल भिया
Charata paribhuta kala jala bhiya
चरतः परिभूत काल जाल भिया
Charata paribhuta kala jala bhiya
भक्त मकरान शीलित
Bhakta makarana shilita
भक्त मकरान शीलित
Bhakta makarana shilita
मुक्ति नदी का नमस्यामि
Mukti nagdi ka namasyami
मुक्ति नदी का नमस्यामि.
Mukti nadi ka namasyami.
So this is the technically correct way. Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ charata परिभूत काल जाल भिया भक्त मकरान शीलित मुक्ति नदी का नमस्यामि. So, you can try to sing in this way, but the technically correct way is how I sang previously. So let's try to namasyami. Namaskaromi. I offer my obeisances. By this, it is clear that it is which type of Mangalacharan?
Namaskaromi-yatmaka.
Namaskriyaatmaka.
Namaskriyaatmaka.
You have to memorize the three types. Ashirvadatmaka, Vastu Nirdeshatmaka, Namaskriyaatmaka. So, Namasyami. I offer obeisances to whom Bhakta Makaran, to the Bhakta Makara. What is Makara?
I know this.
Don't take too much. If you remember, otherwise.
It's not. It's on the tip of my tongue.
The Makara means shark. Krishna wears Makara Kundal.
Makara earrings. Yeah.
So what is Makara mean?
Shark.
Shark. So I offer my obeisances. I offer my obeisances to the shark like devotees. Does it seem to be a good comparison? Devotees are being compared to?
Because it's an ocean.
Right. It's an ocean. Okay. Now, please understand, in an ocean, there are unlimited varieties of fish. It says Chalaja Navalakshani. 9 lakh varieties of fish in the ocean and rivers. So, amongst all these fishes, which is the greatest fish?
The shark.
Why?
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita.
That's okay.
The shark has no other predator.
Right. The shark has no other predator. Okay. So, in the entire ocean, there is only one fish which can swim free of fear. Which is that?
The shark.
Shark. So I hope you are able to understand. So in the Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ also, the devotees are swimming like
sharks.
Sharks. So I offer my obeisances to the shark like. I told you there will be 3 similarities drawn between the ocean and Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. What was the first similarity?
The first similarity is that Sanatana resides
in it.
In both oceans.
Both oceans. The second similarity is that Makaras are swimming in both oceans. Okay. So I offer my obeisances to the shark-like devotees. Now, you have to give some adjectives of that. Okay, what are the adjectives? So first adjective is Ashilita Mukti Nadikan. Okay. So what is the meaning of Ashilita? Ashilita means unadrita. who have no respect, who do not exhibit respect for Mukti Nadi Kan. Nadi means rivers. For the rivers of what?
Mukti.
Mukti. So who disregard the tiny rivers of liberation. There are 5 types of liberation. And these are the 5 rivers, okay, which are entering into Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. Okay, so do the rivers nourish the Sindhu, or does the Sindhu nourish the rivers?
The rivers are the ones that flow into the ocean.
Right.
So
do the rivers lose their
the
the rivers lose their identity into the ocean, or does the ocean lose its identity into the rivers?
The rivers go to the ocean for
right. So the ocean is known as Saritam Patihi, the Lord of all the rivers. Because Sri Hari Suri says this, that a river, Nadi is the term for a river. Okay? And Nadi is Striling, feminine gender. So she is feminine, she is a lady. So what happens to a lady? She takes birth in a home, but after marriage, she has to shift homes. And she has to take shelter of the home of her husband. Similarly, Nadi, she takes birth in the mountains. So what is her parental home? What is the parental home of the Nadi?
The mountain.
And what is her husband's home?
The ocean.
The ocean.
Wow.
So there are terms in Indian languages for, for a girl's parental home and her marriage home. In Hindi, we call it Maika and Sasural. Maika is her parents' home. Sasural is her, husband's home. Do you have terms for that in Tamil?
I'm not an expert in that.
Okay. So there are terms. So anyways, just to slightly deviate from the point, so Harisuri mentions this in context when Bhagavan Krishna was appearing in the world. So all the rivers started flowing, they started overflowing. So Harisuri says, why were they so joyous and overflowing? So Harisuri reminds everyone that, see, rivers are born in their parents' home in the mountains. And finally, they get married to whom?
The ocean.
To the ocean. And they enter into the home of their Lord, their husband, that is the ocean. And once they enter into the ocean, they never get to see their birth relatives again. Do they get to see?
No.
No. But then the rivers understood that this personality who is about to appear, Krishna, he is that same personality who in his previous incarnation as Ram, what did he do? He arranged for many mountains to be thrown in the ocean when he was constructing the bridge. So in this way, he made my family relatives appear back in our lives. So a girl is usually very happy when she gets to meet her family relatives, especially after her marriage. So therefore, the rivers understood that the same personality is coming again. Therefore, they became very happy when Krishna appeared. So anyways, these Bhakta Makaran, these shark-like devotees are those who Ashilita, who disregard Mukti Nadi Kan, the tiny rivers of Mukti. Do sharks ever swim back in the river waters?
No.
Can sharks ever swim in river waters?
No.
Why not?
It's not their home.
Yes. It's insufficient for them.
It's not enough water.
Water for them. So sharks need a vast mass of water to swim in. That they can swim freely. Right? So that is what the bhaktas are like. They disregard the tiny rivers of liberation because the joy which they get in bhakti rasa, is so much vast as compared to the joy that they get in tiny rivers of liberation. I hope you are able to understand what is the Siddhanta being conveyed. That
Yes.
liberation does not give even a small fragment of the joy which Bhakti Ras gives to the devotees. Okay, now describe more. So these devotees are Paribhuta Kala Jala Bhiyah. Bhiyah. So they have Paribhuta. They have defeated. Defeated what? Defeated Bhiyah. Defeated the fear of the Jala, of the fish net of time. Because time is like a net which catches all the fishes who are, in the ocean of this world. But there are, can you catch sharks using a net?
No.
No. Nowadays there are modern techniques to catch sharks, but when in using traditional techniques, there was nothing you could do to catch a shark, especially using a net. You have to use some sort of a weapon to catch a shark. And that's also, nobody would do that in earlier times. In earlier times, they would do, shallow water fishing, not deep water fishing. Nowadays, they are fishing out the entire oceans and all varieties of fish they are fishing. But sharks, even today, they are not afraid of jala. Are they afraid of nets?
No.
No. But if you cast a net on a shark, what will the shark do?
Oh, just go through that.
Yeah. So it will completely devour that net and break free. Paribhuta, they've defeated the fear of the net of all devouring time. I hope you are able to understand.
Yes, Prabhu.
So, in other words, who have defeated the net of all devouring time. Okay, describe.
Oh, does this have something to do with that? There's a subhashita I heard once about how when one is doing when one is engaged in their spiritual practice, one should do so with a sense of urgency. But when one is studying Shastra, one should do so with the feeling that they have all the time.
No, not related to that. It's just that devotees are unaffected by the effects of, even if a devotee's body, let's say a devotee's body gets completed, leaves his body. Okay. So what happens to Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ? Does it stay? Does it remain as it is for the devotee, or does the devotee have to cultivate Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ again?
No, they continue to swim in the water.
So then what effect did time have on the devotee?
No effect.
Nothing. Okay. So they have defeated the net of all devouring time. And third is and charata. And who are swimming? Swimming in which ocean?
In the Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
So, did we cover all the terms? Yeah. Can you read the translation and see if it makes sense?
I offer my obeisances to the shark-like devotees who disregard the tiny rivers of liberation, who have defeated the net of all-devouring time, and who are swimming in the Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
Let's make the translation a little bit more. Let's refine it. Now read the translation.
I offer my obeisances to the shark-like devotees swimming in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ, who disregard the tiny rivers of liberation, and who have defeated the net of all-devouring time.
Does this sound better?
Yes.
So I offer my obeisances to the shark-like devotees swimming in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ, who disregard the tiny rivers of liberation and who have defeated the net of all devouring time. Anything to ask in the verse translation?
No, Prabhu. The only thing I thought was that maybe there was a subtle, like, he was subtly alluding to that Subhashita, but I wasn't. I think now it's clear that he's just talking about the devotees' fearlessness.
Right. So, Tika, commentary, Durgama Sangama. Tad evam. So in this way, Nama Graham Tam Vanditva. So having glorified that person who was glorified in the previous verse.
The previous verse was glorifying. The previous verse was glorifying Sanatana
Gosvāmī. So Nama Graham, by taking his name, Tam Vanditva, having glorified him by taking his very name. So the speciality in the previous verse was that the personality who was glorified was named. Okay, but now there are many other devotees now, but can they all be named or can they be given a general nomenclature?
They have to be given a general nomenclature.
Right. So Namagraham Tam Vandito, previous verse, because it was his guru, so he specifically took the name and then glorified him. Now, having done that, Swa Abhishtan Anyan, those who are dear to him, but others, Api Samanyatah Sadbhaktan, generally those who are, bona fide devotees, those who are dear to him, Vandate, he glorifies. Okay, in which verse? Bhakti Rasa iti. The verse begins with what?
Bhakti Rasa.
Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. This is how the verse begins. Now, Bhakta eva Makara. Bhakta Makara. He is taking the term Bhakta Makaran. And how does he explain Bhakta Makaran? Bhakta eva Makara. Devotees are what?
They're sharks.
Sharks. Meena Rajakya, the king of all fishes. Meena Raj. Meena means fish. And Raja means the king. Akya. So the sharks are known as the kings of all fishes. Jalacharas. They are actually water dwellers. They are fishes. Tan namasyami. So I offer my obeisances to those shark-like devotees. So Makaratvena Rupake Sadrishyatrayam Aha. So even in the metaphor of devotees being shark, there are three similarities. Sadrishyatrayam. How many similarities are there?
3 similarities.
See, when it comes to the ocean, when it comes to comparing Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ with the ocean, there are how many similarities?
3.
And when it comes to comparing bhaktas with makaras, also, there are how many similarities?
3.
3 similarities. Sadrishyatrayam. So, now 3 similarities will be listed. So, first similarity. So, what is the first similarity? Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ charatah. That they are swimming in which Sindhu?
The Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
See, I will quickly highlight the 3 similarities. This is the first similarity. What is the first similarity?
They swim in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ.
What is the second similarity?
They disregard tiny rivers
of liberation. What is the third similarity?
They have defeated the net of all devouring time.
Right. So
how have sharks defeated the net of all devouring time? Like normal sharks.
Normal sharks, just like normal sharks, defeat all net.
It's the net. Okay.
Which tries to catch them. Similarly, the Bhakta Makaras, the devotee sharks, defeat the nets of time which try to catch them and pull them back into the material world. I hope you are able to understand. So similarly. So first is Bhakti Rasa Eva Amrita. So again he is explaining what is Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. Bhakti Rasa itself is a nectarian ocean. So that is the meaning of Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. So Nana Vidha Mukti Nadi Nama Ashraya. It is the Ashraya, shelter of it is the shelter of Nana Vidha Mukti Nadi. The various types of Mukti Nadis, the various types of rivers of liberation. How many types of rivers of liberation are flowing?
5.
5. So that is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. 5 types of liberation. Salokya, Sarishti, Samipya, Sarupya, Aikatva. They are 5 types of rivers. And how is this ocean? Parama Paramananda. It's the greatest of the greatest joys. Tasmin Charato Viharato. And in this ocean, which is the greatest of all great joys, in this ocean they are Charataha, they are Viharataha, they are swimming freely. So basically, Charataha should be like swimming, not only swimming, but swimming freely. Viharataha. So this is the first similarity. I hope you are able to understand. Then there is a silent A. So we'll separate this. Ato. Therefore, na shilita. Ashilita means na shilita. What does shilita means? Na adrita. They have not given any other. What does other mean?
Importance or
respect. So they don't respect. Mukti nadi. Mukti eva nadi. So tad rupataya nirupitam janma maranadi bandha chedakam api anavachinna pravaham api brahma kaivalyadi sukham yais tan. So what does a nadi see? What does nadi represent here? What does river represent here? Okay, river represents Brahma Kaivalya Adi Sukham. Because Brahma Sukha, the happiness of impersonal liberation. How is that happiness of impersonal liberation? Avichinna Pravaha. Just like a river flows continuously. Similarly, the happiness of liberation also flows
continuously.
And Janma Maranadi Bandha Chedakam Api. And just as a river manages to break all dams, earlier a river, if you would construct a dam using mud, so sometimes in the rainy season, the river ultimately manages to break the dam. Now people have constructed modern dams, but even if you construct modern dams, it's only a matter of time before the river breaks all dams. So Janma Maranadi Bandha Chedakam. So just like a river breaks dams, similarly these rivers of impersonal liberation, they also break the dams of the obstructing dams of birth and death. Birth and death are obstructions for the living entity. Hope you are able to understand. So even though these mukti has been described as muktis are described as rivers, and even though mukti tadrupataya nirupitam, they are described like a river, and even though mukti breaks the dams of birth and death, and even though mukti flows continuously and gives the happiness of Brahma, Kaivalya, Sukha, but still they have Ashilita. Ashilita means they have not respected, they have disregarded. Yes. By these devotees, the rivers have been completely disregarded. Tan. So unto that devotees I offer my obeisances. So this is the second similarity. Third. Not third. Third will not start here. Anadritya iti eva va patha. So instead of patha, there is a There is an alternate reading. So Ashilita instead of Ashilita, Anadritya. Anadrita. So Anadrita Mukti Nadikan. Instead of Ashilita Mukti Nadikan, there's another reading which says what?
Anadrita Mukti.
So, Anadrita iti eva va patha. Anadrita Mukti Nadikan is another reading. So we'll take the standard reading because the meaning doesn't change. Okay. Ata eva. Third similarity. Therefore, Paribhuta Kala Jalahiya. Therefore, they have the third similarity is that they have Ata eva Paribhutam. Defeated. They have defeated what? Janma Maranadi Bandha Dukkha Parampara Hetoho Kala Rupa Jalad Bhayam Yaistan. So they have those devotees who have defeated the fear, the bhayam. Bhayam of what? Jala, fear of the net. What net is that? Kala Rupat. That net is of the form of time. And what does that net do to fishes, ordinary fishes? It is the heto, it is the cause of dukkha parampara. Janma, maranadi, bandha, dukkha parampara. It is the cause of the succession of birth, death, bondage, and miseries. The miseries which are caused by birth, death, and bondage in the world. So this is just if you see a jala, if you see a net is a succession of intertwined threads. Similarly, this net is also a succession of intertwined miseries of repeated birth, death, and miseries. Repeated birth and death. I hope you're able to understand. But other fishes may be afraid of this jala, but the makara is not afraid of. They have defeated the fear of this net of all devouring time. So this is the third similarity. I hope you are able to understand.
Yes, Prabhu.
Now he gives three pramanas. Naishang vayam na cha vayam prabhavam dande. This is 6:3:27. Okay. So this is from Srimad Bhagavatam 6:3:27. This is Yamaraj's statement. And I will quickly share 6:3:27. Please recite after me. Te deva siddha parigita pavitra gatha.
Te deva siddha parigita pavitra gatha.
Ye sadhavah samadrisho bhagavat prapanna.
Ye sadhava samadrisho bhagavat prapanna.
Tanno pasidat harer gadaya bhiguptam.
Tanno pasidat harer gadaya bhiguptam.
Naisham vayam na cha vayah prabhavam dande.
Naisham vayam nachavaya prabhavama dande.
So this statement is spoken by Yamaraj. And he is speaking this to his assistants. Who are the assistants of Yamaraj? Yamadutas. So he is speaking it to his own assistants. So let's read the translation.
My dear servants, please do not approach such devotees, for they have fully surrendered to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are equal to everyone, and their narrations are sung by the demigods and the inhabitants of Siddhaloka. Please do not even go near them. They are always protected by the club of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore Lord Brahma and I, even the time factor are not competent to chastise them.
So even the time factor is not able to
Chastise them.
This is a pramana for let's go back. Okay, so this is a pramana for this, that they have defeated the fear of time. Okay. Nesham vayam nacha vayah prabhavama dande. So then another pramana, salokya sarishti sarupya. And this is a very commonly quoted verse. It's from Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, and from the teachings of Sri Kapila Muni. Now in Kapila Muni, this is verse number 13. I will share my screen so that you will be able to see. Salokya sarishti samipya.
Salokya sarishti samipya.
Sarupyaikatvam
Sarupyaikatvam
Diyamanam na grihnanti.
Diyamanam na grihnanti.
Vinamat sevanam jana.
Vinamat sevanam jana.
So 5 types of liberation. Salokya, residing on the same planet as Hari. Sarashti, receiving the same opulences as Hari. Samipya, receiving close personal association of Hari. Sarupya, receiving the same form as Hari, except for Kaustubha and Srivatsa. And Aikatva, merging into Hari. Apiyuta, even merging into Hari. Diyamanam, even though these are offered to the devotee. Na grihnanti, do they accept or do they not accept?
They don't accept.
They don't accept. Vina mat sevanam, without my service. Janaha, these people don't accept it, this liberation, if it doesn't come with my service. Okay, so this is the second proof which Jīva Gosvāmī also do. What does this convey? This conveys that devotees disrespect the various rivers of liberation. I hope you are able to understand. Because Diyamanam na grihna, even though they are offered, do the devotees accept it?
No.
And then mat sevaya pratitam te. This is another from the 9th canto. So I will share the screen again. Mat sevaya pratitam te.
Mat sevaya pratitam te.
Salokyadi chatushtayam.
Salokyadi chatushtayam.
Nechanti sevaya purna.
Nechanti sevaya purna.
Kutonyat kala viplutam.
Kutonyat kala viplutam.
So, please read.
My devotees, who are always satisfied to be engaged in my loving service, are not interested even in the 4 principles of liberation, Salokya, Sarupya, Samipya, and Sarshti. Although these are automatically achieved by their service, what then is to be said of such perishable happiness as elevation to the higher planetary systems?
So they are not interested in the 4 types of liberation, which means they are not interested in Mukti Nadis. So they are always satisfied. Like sharks are satisfied only in one place. Which place?
In the ocean.
Similarly, they are also roaming in the ocean. They are satisfied in the ocean. They don't want the rivers. They are not afraid of time. Iti adescha and etc. From all these pramanas, we can understand that the devotees have how many similarities with the Makar fishes?
3.
3 similarities with the Makar fishes. Anything to ask in this verse?
No, Prabhu, it's somewhat not exactly on topic, but there's a verse that came to mind of the Muktim Dadati Karhichit Smana Bhakti Yoga. But I was hoping you could tell me the beginning of that verse because it wasn't coming to mind.
Rajan Priya Guru, Rajan Patir Guru, Bhavatam Yaduna.
Gurulam bhavatam yadunam.
You want to see that verse?
Yes, Prabhu, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Gurulam bhavatam yadunam. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Shukdev Goswami is saying to Parikshit.
Yes, Rajan, oh dear king.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Okay, so if nothing to ask, then we will pause here.
Prabhu, there's one was all three similarities between the devotees and the Makara given praman for? Because I saw there was two praman about disregard for mukti.
Right. First one was that they are not afraid of time. Naisham vayam nacha vaya. Vaya here denotes time. So vaya means time. Age, time factor. Prabhavama is capable of dande, punishment. So even time is not capable of punishing them. This is the third similarity. Salokya sarishti salokya. They don't accept these rivers. This is the second similarity. Mat sevaya pratitam te. They are fulfilled by my service alone. So they are fulfilled in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. In this, indirectly it is conveying that they are swimming in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. Although this verse also, but he did not quote that section which says that, Salokyadi Chatushtayam. So he did not quote that quote. He only said Mat Sevaya Pratitam te. So what he is quoting here is basically they are fulfilled in Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhuḥ. I hope you are able to understand. So this is for the first, this is for the second, this is for the third similarity in reverse order. All right.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. So nothing to ask. Then it means that we have progressed a lot today. We did the commentary for the second verse. We did the commentary. We did the third verse and the commentary for the third verse. We did the fourth verse and the commentary for the fourth verse. Now we are progressing at a faster speed. So we will continue to progress at this speed until we come to 1.1.11. Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, where our progress will be slow. Because we have to.
I very much look forward to that.
Yes, because we have to really understand that verse before we move ahead. Okay, so till this point, there is, if there is nothing to ask, then we can pause here and we will perform Mangalacharan at the end. So please repeat after me. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya
Om Ajnanatimidandhasya
Jnananjanashalakaya
Jnananjanashalakaya
Chakshurunmilitam yena
Chakshurunmilitam yena
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam
Sthapitam yena bhutale
Sthapitam yena bhutale
Soyam Rupah Kadamahyam
Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam
Tadati Swapadantikam
Dadati Swapadantikam.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Hare Hare.
So, I thank you very much once again. And Yadatra Skalitam Kinchit Vidvansah Purayantu Tat. Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit Tat Guroreva Mene. Yadatra Skalitam Kinchit. While explaining, I may make some mistakes. I'll try to correct myself if that happens. But Vidvansah, you are also learned. Purayantu. If I make a mistake, then you complete it. Okay. And Yadatra Saushthavam Kinchit. If anything was nice, please remember Tat Guroreva. It belongs exclusively to my Gurujanas. May nahi. It doesn't belong to them. Okay, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Jai Śrīla Rupa Gosvāmī Prabhupada. Jai Śrīla Jīva Gosvāmī Prabhupada. Jai Śrīla Prabhupada Anand Koti Vaishnava. Hare Krishna.